This is a Pubcast Shot. I'm John Loomer.
Your emotional attachment to your ads is hurting results.
Let's go.
So it occurred to me recently that there's a central cause of many of the advertiser behaviors that frustrate me so much. The need to create complexity, using old targeting strategies, and most relevant to today's episode, many of the ad copy and creative testing strategies. The problem isn't necessarily that they demand control, even though that's partially true on a surface level. The need for control comes from something else, an emotional attachment to their ads. So they spent time and energy creating this ad, and they want to make sure it gets a chance. Now, I've realized there's something different about me and other advertisers who don't require this control. We lack an emotional attachment to our ads. So let me explain. So my private community has a strategy session every Tuesday where 10 to 20 of us get together and talk about what we're seeing. If any of us is running into a problem, we share it and get suggestions from the group. It's an awesome experience, and I look forward to it every week. Well, one of our members shared her challenge with her ads, and it goes something like this. She wasn't getting great results, so she wanted to create some new video ads. But she was afraid that if she added a new video ad to the current ad set, that it would get very few impressions. That's been her experience in the past, that the algorithm would prefer what was already running. So she created a separate ad set for the new ad to make sure that it would get impressions. So what happened? It hurt overall performance, and the main ad set, which wasn't doing great, is now only breaking even. Honestly, this isn't particularly surprising to me. In an attempt to regain control of delivery, she created a separate ad set for one new ad. She didn't know yet whether this was a good ad or a bad ad, and she would force Meta to spend a certain amount only on that ad. She would do this while reaching the same pool of people as her current ad set. The result, even on a very small scale, could be auction overlap. Now, her budget wasn't very high, so any fluctuations in costs could also be completely random. But the results from this test aren't what's important here. What's important is that what she did is not something I'd recommend. It's not something I'd feel the need to do at all. Now, if it were me, I would have simply added the new ad to the current ad set. So will it restart the learning phase? Yeah, and that might actually be a benefit in this case. If you're not getting the results you want anyway, why would you be scared of restarting learning? It gives the algorithm a bit of a reset. Now, the algorithm will likely prefer the old ads, at least at first, because of their history and social proof. So your new ad may not be better, but the preferences can change over time. So if it were me, I'd publish this new ad to the existing ad set and let it be. No judgment. Maybe it won't be shown much at first. Maybe it will be deprioritized. Maybe it will be prioritized. We'll see. But I'm not emotionally attached to that new ad. I only care about data and results, and it won't bother me that the new ad isn't the new favorite. Now, sure, it may be disappointing, but it won't be a matter of trying to correct Meta and make sure it gets shown. Now, if I'm getting bad results all around, including the original ad, and the new ad isn't getting shown, well, one option there would be to stop that original ad and see what happens. But I'd fully expect that my results won't get any better. The algorithm was already giving me those signals. Now, during this conversation, one of our members, Ryan, made an awesome analogy. He said this is like fishing. If you don't get any bites, you change the bait and cast again. That really hit home for me. And I'd take the analogy even further. You don't have an emotional attachment to the worm or the lure that you're using. Either the fish like it or they don't. If they don't, you try a different bait or move to a different location. Now, I'm not much of a fisherman, but that's what I do. The ads in this case are the bait. They're the worm on the hook. Don't have an emotional attachment to that bait. You've strategically chosen it and attached it and think it will work. But if it doesn't, you try a new bait and you recast. You create a new ad and try again. And that's what I do. And it's what so many advertisers do who get it. Now let's drive this analogy into the ground. Think about what the fish in that location like. Strategically plan this out and try to create a bait that's attractive to them. But if it doesn't work, think about why it didn't work. What is it that the fish actually want? And then try again. So here's the bottom of the glass. The lesson I want you to walk away with today is to consider your own attachment to your advertising. Your success or failure comes down to your ads, not campaign structure or which ad meta prefers. Own your results. If you're not getting the results that you want, look at your ads and think about your ideal customer. Why aren't they responding to this ad? What could you do differently to inspire the action that you want? Consider the psychology behind it. Once you do that, you'll be far closer to a much calmer approach to your advertising. And oh yeah, if you want to join us on these strategy sessions, go to johnloomer.com/elite to learn more. All right, so before we go, a helpful tip to stay ahead of the competition. The biggest challenge with meta advertising is the constant change. I know you know how this is. New features, evolving best practices, or complete redesign of campaign creation. We see it constantly, and it's not easy to keep up. That's why I created The Loop. The Loop is a free weekly subscription to keep you updated on everything that is changing. It pulls from all of my latest blog posts, videos, and even podcast episodes. Smart advertisers stay in the loop so that they don't get left behind. Join them by subscribing at johnloomer.com/loop. Thanks again for joining me today. Until next time, do awesome things.
I'm out.